have you ever just been going about your day, minding your business, when the sudden realization hits you that, dang, that was 5 years ago? Well, that's how I feel. Way too much of the time, and man does that feeling suck. Time is really weird. This is something I've been thinking about for a while now, so hopefully I can structure my thoughts well because this is really interesting to me. Okay, so have you ever thought about how things that happened recently can feel really distant, but distant things can feel a lot more recent? Take for example 2020. I don't know if it's just me who feels like this, but 2020 was 5 years ago. That's half a decade. We are as close to 2020 as 2020 was to 2015. That is insane to me. Like, once again, I don't know if it's just me, but this feels so weird. 2020 does not feel like it was that long ago, but realistically it was. Another thing about time, and hear me out on this one, because I don't know if it'll make sense to most people, but it's like things can feel like they take so long in the moment, but after the fact, they can feel like they took barely any time at all. Okay, this is a very specific example, but take, for example, the school year. Like, if you're in America, we're already 75% done with the school year, and while I know it felt like it took a long time to get here, now that we're actually at this point, it doesn't feel like there was any time that passed at all. Anyway, now I'm going to talk about two specific things. One that feels farther than it actually was, and one that feels closer than it actually was. One thing that feels farther for me, at least, is COVID. It feels like COVID has been over for a long time. However, the pandemic only ended like 3 years ago. Now, this doesn't make sense to me, however, because 2020, which is, you know, when the pandemic started, it actually feels close. I've spoken about the 2020 era a lot in this video so far, and I'd like to explain why. Now, I know this may seem strange, but 2020 is actually very nostalgic for me. I don't know if that's normal for such a short amount of time ago, being only 5 years ago, but it is true. On the concept of nostalgia, that's also a weird thing to think about, because while today it means like a fond memory that you think back on, and like an era that you really liked, and like a longing to go back to it, in the past it was actually considered a mental illness. Where I'm going with this is how things can change over time, or more in general, just change. An example of this is the platform you're on right now, which is YouTube. YouTube has changed a lot in its 20 years of operations. I mean, it used to not even have ads, and for me at least, I've been on the platform long enough to remember a lot of design changes, the changes in the culture, the changes in basically everything. And let's step back from talking about YouTube for a second. The world itself has also changed a lot. But yeah, with that being said, thank you so much for watching. This is my first quote-unquote story time thingy, so please subscribe if you like more. It's on the shorter end because I'm lazy and also I don't know what else to talk about, so yeah, bye-bye.